These were the standings in the NHL on December 7th, 2023. This is the entire league we're looking at right here. And you can see that when it comes to overall points percentage, the New York Rangers, the Boston Bruins, the Vegas Golden Knights, and the LA Kings were top of the NHL. In fact, if you go over to regular old points, the Kings were second in the entire Pacific Division, behind the Vegas Golden Knights with 4 games in hand, and tied with the Vancouver Canucks with 4 games in hand. The Kings, at the start of December, were fantastic, and if you go over to the wild card, you take a look at the Pacific Division. I mean, look, the results are right there. LA is dominating 16-4-3, and they looked like a powerhouse. And then December happened. And then January happened. And now, if you take a look at the NHL standings for today, January 23rd, 2023, no, 2024, excuse me, gotta start saying 2024, it's been 20 days now. This is the standings for what we have right now. LA was second in points percentage just a month and a bit ago, and now, on January 23rd, 2024, they're nowhere to be seen. They're down here in the halfway-ish mark of the NHL. They're down to a 602 points percentage. They're 22, 13, and 9. And now if you go over to regular points, Vancouver, a lot higher above them. Vegas, a lot higher above them. LA is now matched by Edmonton, and Edmonton has games in hand. The Oilers, back in this time frame when we looked at it last time, they were down in the dumps. They were near the bottom of the NHL, 27th in the league in points. Then they went on a 13-game win streak. No big deal about that, right? But the LA Kings have had such a downfall this season that it's kind of mind-boggling to try to acknowledge what happened here. No longer are they top 3 in the Pacific. They're well out of it now. And even when you look at points percentage, they don't belong in the top 3 of the Pacific Division. Only Vancouver has really kept up that crazy pace from the start of the year. Vegas kind of fell off. LA is now 2-4-4 in their last 10. And if you look at the Kings and their schedule, things get even worse. Take a look at their calendar over here, because ever since that day on December 7th that we talked about against Montreal, the Kings have since lost against the New York Islanders, lost against the New York Rangers, lost against the Winnipeg Jets. They won against the Seattle Kraken, and then started going on an off and on kind of run. Win against San Jose, loss against Seattle, win against Calgary, win against San Jose, loss against Vegas, loss against Edmonton, and then in January, things just completely fell apart. Lost to the Toronto Maple Leafs, lost to the Detroit Red Wings, lost to the Washington Capitals, lost to the Tampa Bay Lightning, lost to the Panthers, lost to the Red Wings. They won against the Hurricanes. Great there. They're changing it up a bit. But then a loss against the Stars, loss against the Predators, won against the Rangers, and then a shootout loss against the San Jose Sharks. This team was actually losing in regulation to San Jose. They were able to tie things up in the last 2 minutes and then go to a shootout, that in which they ended up losing too. But the fact that the LA Kings of all teams have now found themselves a way to tumble down the standings and culminate that off, the cherry on top is a shootout loss against the Sharks. This is very questionable. And I get it, the Sharks have been a really weird team this year. They've had themselves some good clutch victories. Like, once in a while, the San Jose Sharks, literally the last place team in the NHL, they'll surprise you with a win here and there. And it's always embarrassing for whatever team's out there that loses to San Jose, but LA is just one of the most recent victims. I get it, my Vancouver Canucks have lost to the Sharks too, so have the Rangers, so have all these other teams here. I think Winnipeg also lost to San Jose. It's been a while for a lot of these teams that just come through into Sharks territory and end up losing, but for the LA Kings, this downfall needs to be studied, because after last night's game versus the San Jose Sharks, you had yourselves a comment made by Coach Todd McClellan about Pierre-Luc Dubois and how his play is away from the puck. At the end of the day, whether PLD gets 4 minutes or 24 minutes, he has to be a difference maker. And with or without the puck, we've gone through this long enough. It's time. That is kind of nuts. coach and PLD having a problem? Who really knows? Let's go over to Pierre-Luc Dubois and take a look at his game log. Do I actually have that open here? I think I might actually have it. Yes, here it is. ESPN, Pierre-Luc Dubois game log. So, the past few games for PLD, who is supposed to be a top-tier player, he's $8.5 million expensive, gotta remember that. He's been averaging about 15 minutes time on ice in these games, and ever since the turn of the new year, he's played, 3, 9, 11 games. He's only gotten 5 points in that sample, and 4 of those points came in only 2 games. So the fact is, PLD, maybe one of these guys that is not pulling his weight. We'd already made a few videos talking about him and his line, how Arthur Kaliev is not pulling his weight either, and now when you talk about some of the other guys on the LA Kings, here's some comments made by Kings fans on the post-game thread from last night, just kind of going over their loss to the San Jose Sharks. Fire Todd. Yep, that's it. That's the post-game thread. That's kind of funny. Byfield was great. Fiala was great. Brandt Clark made some really nice moves and showed his potential. Trevor Moore showed his great shot again, and Doughty somehow scored a last-minute slap-shot goal to tie the game again. Yet somehow we lost anyway because our defense made a ton of mistakes, and Big Save Dave was not particularly good. Kopitar and Kempe continue to do nothing at 5v5. Dubois has yet to have a consistent stretch of good play. Shootouts are a joke at this point with how pathetic we are. And overtime, watching Kopitar, Kempe, and Doughty skate in circles doing nothing is painful. I'm glad we had Spence and Clark playing in the same game, but Todd seriously needs to break up Kopitar and Kempe now. Kopitar is not playing anywhere near well enough to warrant the time on ice he has. Just try something weird like Byfield, Dubois, Kempe, or Laffy, Kopitar, Fajimo, Jared Anderson, Dolan, or Kaliev. The first line has been dormant for way too long. I don't care if Dubois isn't performing well either, he's doing more offensively than Kopitar is. Might as well try. Yes, you watched the same game that I did. Anze Kopitar is my favorite player, but something is off with him, and his playing time needs to be reduced. He's especially slow for weeks now. He's one of the most offensively responsible forwards ever, and I love him, but at this point he just cannot keep up with his current line mates. I was not expecting to see Anze Kopitar slander on the LA Kings freaking Reddit page. But, based off of last night's action, it's apparent that this may be the case. There are more than one disappointing LA Kings throughout this stretch, and it's very apparent that one of the best players in the franchise's history is that. Let's go over and read some extra comments before ending this video off. It's over, guys. That locker room is shot. I'm shot, and I'm not even on this team. Good luck, Todd McClellan. This team is a joke right now. No way they're going to do any kind of damage in the playoffs this year. But absolutely, Capo Kakin, props to him, he stole the game. Are we even going to make the playoffs? LMAO. And that's also kind of a question I wanted to pose too, because now, the LA Kings, I mean, the Calgary Flames are right there. They're approaching high. And if you go over to the wild card, it's a pretty tight race now between these central teams. I'd say LA is a lot more likely to make the playoffs, but if they keep going 2-4-4 in stretches of 10 games, then they're not really going to stay in that position long. All it takes is one win streak again from Seattle, and they're back in it. Calgary, same thing. Edmonton, we already seen what happens when a team like that goes on a run, and they're still riding it high with 13 straight wins. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below if you're a Kings fan. What the hell happened to your hockey team? Why have you guys fallen off a cliff since the beginning of December? Why have you guys stopped winning games? What's going on? Is Anze Kopitar really that big of a problem? Is PLD not pulling his weight in the ways that everybody is saying he's not? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below if you're a Kings fan. How do you feel about the way this season is gone? I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.